Part 52. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 511. She is indeed a Tianlong saint who was born after a long life and death in Xuanhuan and was trained by the dragon soul of the ancestors of the Tianlong Holy Dynasty. Her starting point is similar to Zhangzaize. Now, looking at the momentum of the explosion, you can see that she is definitely more ferocious than Yishan. She is probably more ferocious than Bai Yeling, who was trained by the two Hades. Shengxiao's momentum is different from other female geniuses that Zhangzaize has seen. In comparison, Bai Yeling, Feng Xiaoxiao, Hualei, and Jun Muxi all seem more gentle, while Shenxiao is extremely hard and fierce, which is consistent with her inner desire for power and control of fate. The spear that runs through everything seems to have condensed her spiritual will, which makes people's scalps numb. The spear is a Kun-level magic weapon Saint Emperor Dragon Spear, and the dragon-shaped shield is a Kun-level magic weapon Saint Emperor Dragon Shield. This is a set of magic weapons, which is a treasure that the Holy Dragon Emperor personally gave to the Tianlong Saint after conferring the title of Tianlong Saint. This magic weapon can attack and defend, it is perfect. Take it after entering the combat state, even her words became cold and fierce. She stepped on the ground and rushed towards Zhangzaize. Her speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, many golden shadows appeared in this passage, changing unpredictably and difficult to distinguish the real body. This is also a profound body fighting tactic. Ding! The speed of the spear was simply explosive, tearing the air in an instant, making a sharp whistling sound, and piercing towards Zhangzaize in an instant. The tip of the Holy Emperor Dragon Spear directly penetrated a stream of qi, and the penetration range of the qi was very far. She was still 10 feet away, and the qi almost pierced Zhangzaize's chest. Buzz! Zhangzaize dodged instantly with the 8-step soul chasing lightning, but even so, the corner of his clothes was still penetrated. Not bad, Zhangzaize smiled. He met his match. I'm still far behind you. Shen Xiao's figure moved, and while she was talking, her hands moved faster and more fiercely. The Holy Emperor Dragon Spear could stab out a shot in an instant. In a very short time, she actually attacked and killed Zhangzaize with more than 30 shots. Every time the energy penetrated, there was a chill in her heart. Buzz! Zhangzaize counterattacked, and the 8-step soul-chasing lightning instantly rushed towards his real body. Thousands of thunder and lightning were rioting. With a loud bang, when Zhangzaize hit her, the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield was raised, and the power of the 9 heavenly tribulation thunderclaws was all bombarded on the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield, knocking it out, but it couldn't hurt her at all. Awesome! Shen Xiao quickly stabilized her body after being suppressed. A smile appeared on the corner of her mouth, and the anger on her body burned and swept up again. This shot was faster and more fierce, like a dragon with a horn, killing Zhangzaize in front of her in an instant. Zhangzaize had been prepared. 3 heroic spirit talismans were cast, and the one-horned dragon was blocked by the heroic spirit of the heroic spirit talisman. Although it pierced through 3 heroic spirits, it did not hurt Zhangzaize at all. The spear technique she used was called the 3 lives piercing the sky spear formation, which was said to be able to penetrate the sky. That kind of indomitable spirit of penetration was indeed terrifying. All of this could be reflected in her eyes. Sharp, full of fighting spirit, and willing to break but not yield. It seemed that Zhangzaize was defeated by Shengxiao's crazy piercing. However, he also wanted to see what kind of transformation she had. Now he finally understood that the biggest transformation was still in the spiritual will. It must be said that this woman was really special. She was tougher than Zhangzaize had imagined, and more fighting spirit than many men. Zhangzaize's devouring field had quietly covered and enveloped the entire battlefield, and he was going to start exerting his strength. Facing such an opponent, going all out was the respect given to the opponent. I heard that your totem has evolved to the universe level. What is it, Zhang Zizai asked while dodging her sharp spear. Heavenly punishment. What is heavenly punishment? It used to be the wild level totem Shenxiao Flame Dragon Totem, but now it should be the heavenly punishment Flame Dragon Totem. You will know when you see it. She suddenly appeared in front of Zhang Zizai, and the spear penetrated again. This time, Zhang Zizai attacked with the Nine Heavens Tribulation Thunderclaw. His palm was wrapped with a large amount of black lightning, which formed a big hand. He was quick-eyed and quick-handed. When the spear penetrated, he instantly grabbed the tip of the spear. Bang bang bang. The black lightning and the golden flame collided fiercely. Shengxiao's Holy Emperor Dragon Spear made Zhang Zizai grab it on the spot and couldn't pull it out for a while. This was the time for the two to wrestle. Zhang Zizai planned to throw it away. If she got the spear, she would have no choice. Just when he was about to use force, he suddenly felt the terrible burning of the woman's body in front of him. The snow-white skin on her entire body suddenly turned red, as if a volcano had become inside her body. And that cherry-like mouth was like a crater. At this time, her eyes were already engulfed by the red lava. When Zhang Zizai intended to take away her spear, she suddenly opened her mouth, and at that moment, the volcano erupted. Boom! A terrifying red flame spurted out of her mouth. There are different types of flames. Some flames can even burn gods to death, while others can only cook rice. Zhang Zizai had encountered a black flame in this ant nest, and it felt like it would burn him to ashes if he was touched. At this moment, the flames that spewed out of Shengxiao's mouth gave him the same feeling. The flames were about to engulf him in an instant. Before engulfing him, the burning breath almost burned him to charcoal. Zhang Zizai was stunned. It's amazing, she is a woman who can breathe fire. This is the fire of heavenly punishment. This is the power of the Shenxiao totem. At this critical moment, even the eight-step soul-chasing lightning was in no hurry to dodge, and Zhang Zizai's only way to deal with it was the Eternal Divine Fist. This special skill can be used the fastest and can react in the shortest time. When he realized that his life was in danger, he punched out directly. The powerful force of the Eternal Divine Fist knocked him back and also dispersed the fire of heavenly punishment that Shenxiao spewed out, and also knocked Shenxiao out. But even so, he still couldn't block all the flames. Part of it burned on his arm, and suddenly half of his arm was charred, and Zhang Zizai grimaced in pain. I didn't expect you to breathe fire. Zhang Zizai was depressed, and was almost burned to ashes by this fire-breathing woman. The fire of heavenly punishment is pretty powerful, isn't it? Shenxiao's eyes were rolling with lava, her whole body was still red, and she felt like she could continue to explode at any time. Seeing her in this state, Zhang Zizai knew that she could not only spit out flames once. It's okay, with this little ability, you can't take me down, Zhang Zizai said with a stiff face. Then I'll show you my real ability, she said with a smile, with explosive momentum. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 512. The killing power of the Holy Emperor Dragon Spear and the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield is so strong, and they can also spit out the fire of heavenly punishment. This is not her real ability. Zhang Zizai found that he really underestimated her. After all, she is a woman who caused a sensation in the Tianlong Holy Dynasty. In Zhang Zizai's eyes, she suddenly flew into the air, and there was a golden bead in her hand. The bead suddenly split and turned into dense parts, surrounding it. Buzz. Suddenly, all those parts were combined on her body. Zhang Zizai saw clearly that these scattered parts, combined together, turned out to be a set of armor. And it was not an ordinary armor, but grew in the flesh and blood, and was completely connected to the body. From this point of view, this is not an ordinary totem weapon, and it can even be said that it is not a totem weapon. In a blink of an eye, Shenxiao changed completely. Her body was completely covered with armor, and even the palms were covered with a layer of armor, and the nails became sharp claws. There are even golden spikes in many places, such as the elbows and knees. What a majestic and domineering golden armor! The surface is covered with dense golden dragon scales, and it is completely made in the shape of a dragon. The only part of her body that is exposed is probably her eyes. Her beautiful face is also completely covered by the armor, and even her eyes may be protected by transparent armor. Such armor makes her look more like a golden armored war god than a woman. What's more terrifying is that the armor wraps her Holy Emperor Dragon Spear and Holy Emperor Dragon Shield, making these two weapons seem to have evolved, completely connected to her body, and become thicker. There is no doubt that with this armor amplification, her abilities in all aspects seem to have been directly enhanced, and even her speed has been improved. What is this? Zhang Zizai was a little envious. What I got from Xuanhuan is called Holy Dragon Armor. It is a thing of ancient gods, similar to the 6 great divine talismans. Shenxiao was very frank and said directly. Possessed by the Holy Dragon Armor, she looked more like a fighting machine than Zhang Zizai at this moment. Great Zhang Zizai laughed, like a turtle shell. Brother Zizai, you really don't know how to speak. I will be unhappy if you describe me like this, Shenxiao said angrily. Only when he spoke did he know that the person protected by the Holy Dragon Armor was her, otherwise Zhang Zizai would have thought that she had met an ancient god somewhere. So. I want to conquer you, she said. So domineering. Come on, I am ready to receive your favor at any time. The future Holy Dragon Emperor Zhang Zizai laughed. That's right, I only take harems, not concubines. Shenxiao said this and killed again. After the Holy Dragon Armor was possessed, Zhang Zizai knew that she had increased her strength, speed, defense, and other aspects as soon as she started, which was equivalent to rising to a higher level. There are even many means that have not been shown yet. The spear penetrated, and the 8-step soul-chasing lightning could not dodge. 9 heaven tribulation thunder claws couldn't even hold her spear. There was no other way, I had to be serious. Otherwise, if I was defeated and lost the immortal talisman, it would be really laughable. 3 life-piercing heaven spear formation, heavenly punishment fire, Holy Dragon Armor. Under the golden flames, the Holy Dragon Armor was attached, and the Holy Emperor Dragon Spear burst out with dazzling aura, which spread all over the surrounding passages. Although Zhang Zizai's 8-step soul-chasing lightning and 9 heaven tribulation thunder claws were equally fierce, she was too tough and thick-skinned. Not only did she have the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield, but she also had the Holy Dragon Armor. Zhang Zizai knocked her away several times and even broke through the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield, but his 9 heaven tribulation thunder claws tore on the Holy Dragon Armor and couldn't hurt her. After being repelled, she immediately jumped up as if nothing had happened, and pierced again. It seemed very far away, but it pierced in front of her eyes in the blink of an eye. Brother Zizai, you dare to tease me with just this little strength, Shenxiao chuckled. Zhang Zizai was furious. This little bitch dared to say that she was incompetent. He didn't have the patience to wait for the devouring domain to consume a lot of her. Since you are rude, Zhang Zizai will be even more rude. He directly pulled out the black stick of the violent ape from the space jade pendant. When the black stick was in his hand, a faint blood color spread in Zhang Zizai's eyes. The bloody smell on his body permeated out, and he had a very violent feeling out of thin air. Huh! Shen Xiao passed by his eyes, and the fire of heavenly punishment spurted out again, forcing Zhang Zizai to dodge. The passage was so big, her fire of heavenly punishment was very effective, and sometimes Zhang Zizai couldn't dodge at all. Are you ready? Zhang Zizai said in a deep voice. What? Shen Xiao said with a smile. Accept my destruction. With the black stick in hand, Zhang Zizai's body was rolling with black air, and his whole body suddenly burst out. The evil spirit talisman in his hand was scattered, and a large number of evil spirits accompanied Zhang Zizai and rushed towards the opponent instantly. 5 elements demon subduing stick. Although I only learned the basics, it was enough. Yaojin. This fighting method does not have any skills. All its strength is based on violence. It is pure violence, breaking all the opponent's defenses. This stick, black golden light burst out, Zhang Ziyi swept the stick and collided with the Holy Emperor Dragon Spear. Bang! In the duel of absolute power, even if Shen Xiao has the Holy Dragon armor, Zhang Ziyi is still better at this time. Shen Mu. 5 elements demon subduing stick, one stick after another, each stick is more violent than the other. Heavy water. A stick hit Shen Xiao on the head and sent her flying again. He chased after her with the 8-step soul chasing lightning, and used the 8-step soul chasing lightning in conjunction with the 5 elements demon subduing stick. Open fire. The stick whistled past, and black flames swept through. With a bang, Shen Xiao failed to catch the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield. Under Zhang Ziyi's violent pressure, the Holy Emperor Dragon Shield finally flew out. Vast land. For the last stick, Zhang Ziyi held the stick with both hands, with the strongest pressure, and with the evil spirits entangled in his body, Shen Xiao was firmly supported, so this stick was directly hit in her chest. Boom! The Holy Dragon armor was broken. Countless parts were combined into a golden sphere, dim and without light. Shen Xiao was also shaken away, and she groaned softly. Judging from the sound, she seemed to be in some pain. After all, Zhang Ziyi completely blasted her defense with this last stick, which must have caused a certain degree of trauma to her. But before she fell to the ground, a figure suddenly appeared beside her, hugged her around the waist, and let her land steadily. That person is naturally Zhang Ziyi. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 513. Shen Xiao's face turned slightly pale, and there was a wisp of blood at the corner of his mouth. It seemed that his internal organs had been injured by Zhang Ziyi. After all, the black stick had a power that even Zhang Ziyi could not understand. Sorry, I won. Zhang Ziyi put her on the ground, gently let go of her hand, and looked at her with a smile. Yes, Shen Xiao lowered his head, gently wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, then raised his head and smiled. Brother Ziyi is still so awesome, it's admirable. Lucky, lucky, Zhang Ziyi said. He took out a few talismans in the space jade peri. This was the Japanese level talisman, Warm Sunlight Talisman. He had just learned it some time ago. It was much more effective than the Glow Talisman. He started directly and hit the talisman on her body. On her body, it can promote the recovery of her injuries. You are so merciless. You broke my Holy Dragon armor. How about Liang Xiangziyu? Shen Xiao looked at him with a half smile but not a smile. You were more domineering than me just now. I don't dare to pity you. Otherwise, it would be too shameful for you to conquer me. Zhang Ziyi paused and said, I don't have the ability to break your Holy Dragon armor. I guess it will be broken again after a while. It can be restored. Since those treasures are the same as the 6 talismans. I originally wanted to use the Divine Fire Talisman, but you have the Inanimate Talisman and the Immortal Talisman on you, and the Divine Fire Talisman can't kill you. And I heard that the conditions for using the Inanimate Talisman are very bad, and you have to distinguish between life and death, so, I will don't use it, otherwise, you might still lose, Shen Xiao said seriously. This makes sense, and the key point is that Zhang Ziyi's 3 magical talismans are currently in a state of being unable to be used. The Divine Fire Talisman can directly cause lethality. It seems that Fu Erqian gave in to me, Zhang Ziyi said. Are you willing to call me that? Shen Xiao rolled her eyes at him, charmingly. Haha, no matter what, you still lost and you have to fulfill your promise just now. Zhang Ziyi said that this was his purpose, otherwise his efforts would be in vain. If I don't say anything, I'm cheating. What can you do to me? Shen Xiao never expected to say these words. Hey, you can't do this, Zhang Zizai said depressedly. If you lose, I don't believe you will take out the Wushan talisman. You will definitely cheat. I'm just imitating you, Shen Xiao said. Nonsense, I am such a righteous person, I will never break my promise, Zhang Zizai said righteously. Shen Xiao chuckled and said, okay, I'll just tease you. I'm willing to admit defeat. Zhang Zizai has two conditions. All ears. I can't tell you much, just a few points. First, this place is called the Dragon Demon Relics. The so-called Dragon Demon is an existence that became an ancient god in the Holy Dynasty tens of thousands of years ago. Here are the relics he left behind when he went to the god's domain. Dragon Demon Relics, Zhang Zizai had never heard of it. However, if one could truly cultivate to become an ancient god, the relics he left behind would definitely be extraordinary. Second, I was guided by my ancestors. The sixth talisman, the legend is here. This second point surprised Zhang Zizai. Didn't you say that the sixth talisman will not appear until the other 5 talismans are born? Zhang Zizai asked. I don't know, she said simply, but I know that the sixth talisman has power beyond the mortal world. According to legend, if you get the sixth talisman, you will have the opportunity to become an ancient god and the continent of origin. The master of the world. The ancient senior who called himself the Dragon Demon became an ancient god because he obtained the sixth talisman. This sentence made Zhang Zizai feel quite excited. Of course he wants to become an ancient god. That is his only chance to save Ling Dang and his only chance to reunite with the 9 immortals. Otherwise, he will be a failure in his life. Although Shen Xiao only revealed 2 points, these 2 points are already very important information. Dragon Demon Relics, the 6th talisman. That's all I can tell you. We are in different camps now. Since you have come in, you are our competitors. I can't be with you. I'm leaving first, Shen Xiao said. She is not in a fighting state now, but she looks much weaker. She looks like 2 people from before. When she was possessed by the holy dragon armor, she was too violent. Zhang Zizai is still digesting these 2 pieces of information. Wait a minute, he called Shen Xiao, with a wicked smile on his lips, and said, little girl, have you forgotten something? No, that's all, Shen Xiao said blankly. Still pretending, I've recorded it with the image talisman. Zhang Zizai knew that she would cheat, so he took out the image talisman, which recorded his second condition. Shen Xiao had already agreed at that time. I'm so annoyed. You're still so shameless, she couldn't laugh or cry. How could someone record a kiss with an image charm? This is called wisdom, the kiss of beauty, but it is much more important than the information about this place. I may not know where this place is, but you still have to give me the kiss I want, Zhang Zizai said. No, you have your own heart, don't torment me. Shen Xiao suddenly became quiet and said seriously. Are you sure? Zhang Zizai asked. Sure. Unless you forget her one day, she thought for a while and then said, although there are bells, I don't mind being a vicious stepmother torturing her. This is quite difficult. The little guy is so cute. It's so unfair to her. But you must also be willing to admit defeat. This is a bit difficult. How about changing to a simpler one, Zhang Zizai said. On what terms? Zhang Zizai's attitude was serious. He looked into her eyes and said, before I followed you, I went to Lingyanzai to take a look. I felt a little uncomfortable. Her expression suddenly changed and she became as serious as Zhang Zizai. She asked, so? I want to know how she died. I didn't take care of her. I feel very sorry. I want to know what I can do, Zhang Zizai said. So, the kiss you want is just a cover, and asking about her things is the real purpose? You can be more frank. Why do you have to be like this with me? Shen Xiao asked. It's okay, you can choose not to say anything. I'm just asking, Zhang Zizai said. Do you like her? She asked. Zhang Zizai shook his head. After all, the time together was too short and there was no love, but this did not mean that Zhang Zizai could not care about her. She actually likes you, Shen Xiao said. She gently pulled up her long hair at the temples, without looking at Zhang Zizai, and said softly, I don't want to mention anything about her, so. She raised her head and stood in front of Zhang Zizai. She stretched out her hands and hung them on Zhang Zizai's neck. She stepped slightly and touched his lips with her red lips. Then she glared at him and said, but I don't want to be someone who fails to fulfill my bet after losing. The kiss was a kiss, but it was a bit tasteless. Let's go, she said, turned around and left, feeling free and easy. Wait a minute, Zhang Zizai took out the image talisman, played it again, and said, listen carefully, I'm telling you to hold on for a quarter of an hour. What's going on with you just clicking this? Shen Xiao's eyes widened and she looked at him speechlessly. So, you owe me an answer. If you want to know, go into Xuanhuan and see for yourself. She seemed angry. She turned around and left, disappearing in the blink of an eye. This time, Zhang Zizai did not catch up with her. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 514. In the vast sea, a black warship was speeding in the sky. The warship raised a black canvas, which looked like the wings of a bat. The overall shape of the warship was very much like a bat. The name of this warship is Yuanji, which is the symbol of Hades. The underworld does not have a place like Sky Island that can turn around the entire origin continent. In order to expand the sect, they built many warships, among which the Yuanji was the fastest one. The Yuanji was riding the wind and waves, heading east. On the Yuanji, the strong men from Hades gathered at the bow of the ship. They looked up at the sky. The scorching sun in the sky was still shrouded in a black air. The black air moved around the sun, looking like a black dragon. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. The black dragon covers the sun, an ominous sign. The Yuanji was already the fastest, but the people in Hades were still anxious. After seeing this vision, they immediately headed to the east of the East China Sea, but even so, they were still worried that they would be late. If Zhang Zizai comes here, he will find that he has seen most of the people here, such as Infinite Pluto, Withered Bone Pluto, and Blood Soul Pluto. For example, geniuses such as Bai Yeling, the daughter of the god of Hades, and Yu Wenjin. Bai Yeling was leaning on the side of the ship. She was wearing a tight black skirt, with her two round thighs exposed. Her exquisite figure was fully displayed. Although she was not old, she was already curvy. Speaking of the black dragon, I seem to think of a person, Bai Yeling said. Zhang Zizai, Yu Wenjin looked unhappy. I heard that he went to the Fu sect of life and death. Is there something wrong with his brain? Our underworld palace is 10 times stronger than Fu Hai's poor place, but he is so blind. It's not that you don't want him to come, so don't take advantage of him and behave yourself. Bai Yeling rolled his eyes. Of course, she doesn't like her parents recruiting Zhang Zizai. I will prove to them that I am enough, Bai Yeling said. Ling I will definitely serve you from both front and back, Yu Wenjin said infatuatedly. Yeah, Bai Yeling nodded and said nothing more. However, she didn't seem to want to be alone with Yu Wenjin, so she walked a few steps to Pluto and Pluto General and said, by the way, why is Pluto still not here this time? He has disappeared for a long time. Linger Infernal Pluto said with a smile, I was afraid that you would talk nonsense before, but now it is almost a certainty, so there is no harm in telling you. What? The girl was very curious. Infernal Pluto said, my brother, this retreat is to sprint to the first god realm. He has been preparing for this breakthrough for many years. Before setting off, I heard two Plutos say that he is only one step away from success. Yes, do you know what this means? It means that there will be 3 Hades in our Hades palace. Bai Yelling's eyes sparkled a lot. That's right, Infernal Pluto smiled broadly. His younger brother's future is much better than his. If he reaches the realm of the first god, his longevity will increase a lot. Oh my god, they were the only young people who didn't know the news, so they all beamed after hearing it. This is great. In this way, the number of top powerhouses in our Hades palace will be greater than that of other forces. The day of revenge is just around the corner. Yes, we were almost destroyed 1,000 years ago. We have suffered such deep hatred for several generations, and we finally have a chance to avenge it, Xuanhuan said. Young people, don't think too much. The Holy Dynasty and Shenzong join forces and it is impossible for us to deal with it. Although there are 3 Hades, it will take a long time to really get revenge. Wait for you young people to continue to work hard and continue to increase our number. The number of top powerhouses in Hades Palace. Generally speaking, the top experts play a decisive role in the future of the sect. Bai Yelling and Yu Wenjin looked at each other. There is intense passion in their eyes. They were raised with hate instilled in them. Ling come with me, Blood Soul Pluto shouted and walked into the cabin. Are you talking about the Blood Hell Talisman? Bai Yelling asked. Well, how is your inheritance going? Have you made any progress? Bai Yelling frowned slightly and said, not yet. I always feel like there is no response. Maybe I don't understand enough. Don't be impetuous. We have held the Blood Hell Talisman for so many years, but we haven't found a successor. Even if you can't succeed, it doesn't matter, Blood Soul Pluto said. I know, but if I can inherit the Blood Hell Talisman, my chances of becoming the god of Hades in the future will be very high, Bai Yelling said. The future of Hades Palace has a long way to go. Blood Soul Hades patted her shoulder lightly a few times and said, I guess you also heard that the Holy Dragon Saint of the Holy Dynasty inherited the Divine Fire Talisman, so you are a little anxious. Bar. Bai Yelling didn't say much, but he definitely thought so in his heart. I understand how you feel. I originally thought that I was the most outstanding at this age, but then there was Zhang Zizai, and now there is another Tianlong Saint, who seems to be better than you. It's normal to have some gaps in my heart, but cultivation is the most important thing. The best thing is to calm your heart. Bai Yelling's mood fluctuated. New. She thought of the person who defeated her, and no matter what she thought, she was still unconvinced. Soon it was night. The Yuanqi was almost a black shadow, passing quickly across the sky. Perhaps, the Hades didn't notice that when they passed a certain position, a pair of blood-red eyes stared at the black shadow in the sky. The black shadow passed by, and the blood-red shadow also rushed into the sea. A bloodline chased the black shadow at a speed almost as fast as the Yuanqi. In the Yuanqi. In a secret room, Bai Yelling held a blood-red talisman in her hand. The talisman melted into her palm and connected with her blood. The bloodline on the talisman melted into her body, as if sucking blood, making Bai Yelling's face pale. Why? Bai Yelling frowned. Although she was infinitely close, she still hadn't reached the state in the legend. The state of being connected with the divine talisman. Suddenly, she felt a little palpitation. There was only one window in the secret room. Outside the window were dark clouds at night, and occasionally starlight and moonlight could be seen. What? For some reason, she felt that there was someone outside the window, but when she thought about it carefully, this was Yuanqi, and there were 3 Hades here, so how could anyone come here? She stood up and looked out the window. There was an empty sky outside, so how could there be anyone there? I've been thinking too much recently. She touched her forehead, a little speechless, then sat down cross-legged and continued to ponder the blood prison talisman in her hand. Suddenly, a pair of bloody eyes appeared in the window. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 515. The vast East China Sea. In this endless sea, the sea level has risen a lot because of the appearance of a huge black land. This is not land, but a black cocoon. The surface of the black cocoon is bumpy, like burnt land, and there are a lot of deep holes. The hole looks like a honeycomb. At this time, people have come one after another. The brave ones have gone in directly, while the timid and cautious ones stay outside to observe the situation. Because the black cocoon is so big, it is not easy to detect even if it is hidden on the surface. As time goes by, more and more people come. Is that the origin of the divine sect? The world has changed, and they will come as expected. An hour ago, people from the underworld palace also came. They seemed to be chasing something, and a group of people rushed in directly. Chasing? How is that possible? I guess they know what treasures are in it, so they rushed in first. Look, the strong men of the divine sect are all planning to go in. The silver-haired man is the new Tianshan Palace Master Li Yinhe. Li Yinhe is said to be very low-key. At this time, he basically didn't say a word when standing in front of other palace masters. The prominent figures of the divine sect have all come here. They have been observing for a while and are ready to go down. They also brought some young geniuses, such as Yishan, Feng Xiaoxiao and Tianyi. Originally, their strength would definitely not help, but they guessed that there might be treasures in it. If some treasures need to be inherited on the spot, then the use of bringing them will be reflected. Old seniors will give up resources to the future of the divine sect. Where is the first god? Feng Xiaoxiao asked Feng Xiaoao next to him. It seems that he is acting alone and has already gone in, Feng Xiaoao said. Why hasn't the sun god shown up? Feng Xiaoxiao asked curiously. I'm telling you, don't tell anyone, Feng Xiaoao said softly. Hurry up and tell me, don't be so nagging. It seems that he has been active in this area for a long time. The changes in this place should be related to him. He has been in the East China Sea for several years. Is that so? This is indeed top secret information, and she didn't dare to ask more. Want to go in here? This thing looks disgusting, Feng Xiaoxiao said. What can we do? Maybe there is a peerless treasure. Someone must know what is here, but they haven't told us yet. When the father and daughter were talking, the four palace masters had already led everyone in directly. They gathered together, selected an entrance, and went in directly. No matter what happens, don't leave my side, Feng Xiaoao warned. I know, you are so long-winded, Feng Xiaoxiao rolled her eyes, but she did obey and followed her father. Hey, do you think he will come here? After walking in this dark world for a while, Feng Xiaoao asked nervously. When can you stop calling me hey? Feng Xiaoao had a headache. When you leave this world. Ah, my heart aches. Feng Xiaoao was hit hard, and his eyes were full of stars. After Feng Xiaoxiao's questioning, he said, that kid likes to join in the fun so much. It's so lively here, how could he not come? Maybe he's in there. In this way, Feng Xiaoxiao has some expectations for this dark world. Outside the Dragon Demon ruins. As time passed, people from all sides of the origin continent, regardless of their strength, entered it. The forces from the divine sect, the Holy Dynasty, and the Underworld Palace were considered to be the highest in overall level. There were too many other people. However, there were also some strong people among them, and even some hidden beings, whose cultivation was comparable to Tianya and others. There may be such strong people in many top dynasties in the origin continent, but they rarely show up on weekdays. People entered the ant nest one after another, but they didn't know that there was an audience who was watching all this. A human-shaped water mass suddenly rose from the sea water. It stood there for a quarter of an hour, watching many people enter it. Every time someone entered, it smiled. Finally, it also quietly entered, and no one knew Zhang Zizai had been wandering here for several days. Except for the encounter with Shen Xiao at the beginning, he hardly saw anyone else. However, the black flames and knife winds in this ant nest had been encountered many times. These things were very dangerous. Zhang Zizai was extremely careful and made judgments in advance. Every time he entered a new passage, he almost thought of a way to escape, so that he would react faster when he encountered danger. In addition to the flames and knife winds, he once again encountered a dark green flood. The flood was very loud, fierce, and extremely cold. Zhang Zizai was chased for a while and left from another passage. If he was swallowed by the cold water, he would probably be frozen to death. With his strength, he felt that this place was full of dangers. Shen Xiao is about the same as me. How can she survive in a place like this? Seeing her confident look, it seems that she knows this place well, which means she has the capital. Zhang Zizai was confused anyway. He wanted to wander around and see if he could meet someone from the life and death talisman section. Having a talisman general to protect him would be much better than wandering around like this. The passages in the ant nest are extremely complicated, and there are endless forks outside the forks. No one is sure who will meet at the corner. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. For example, at this moment, Zhang Zizai quietly moved forward. As soon as he entered a new passage, a strong momentum came from the front. Who? A delicate shout came. The other party was very fast. Before Zhang Zizai could withdraw, the other party had already appeared in front of him. This was a beautiful woman with outstanding grace, exquisite and plump. She was wearing a light blue long skirt and was as delicate as a lotus out of water. However, when she saw Zhang Zizai, her eyebrows stood up at once, her eyes glared, and she said, "Zhang Zizai, how come you are here?" She was very shocked that Zhang Zizai appeared here. Zhang Zizai had a little impression of this person. He should be a dragon guardian from the Water Dragon Saint clan. "You haven't met anyone else?" Zhang Zizai asked in surprise. There was no way. The dragon guardian was similar to the Holy Spirit servant, and he couldn't deal with it. "What do you mean?" The beautiful woman in the blue skirt was very cautious, and she was already approaching Zhang Zizai when she spoke. "There was such a big commotion in the East China Sea, and we were in Yanlong. We came here after seeing the commotion. There are many people here now. Didn't you come in together?" He made this up purely on the spot, and he didn't know if anyone knew about the commotion here. In fact, the reality is really like this. "Is that so?" The beautiful woman in the blue skirt looked suspicious. She stared at Zhang Zizai suspiciously and said, "No matter what, this is our Tianlong place. You broke in rashly and broke the rules. From now on, you can only follow me. This is not good. Although I am young and handsome, you are much older than me. You can't be an old cow eating young grass," Zhang Zizai said in embarrassment. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 516. You are a little bad guy with a slick tongue. The beautiful woman chuckled, but she changed her face quickly. As soon as she finished the previous sentence, she immediately said seriously, "No matter what you say, don't move, don't try to sneak around in our territory." While speaking, she had already taken out a rope from the space jade pendant. The rope was not an ordinary thing. It was blue all over and seemed to be made of metal, but it was very soft. I'm afraid it was a totem weapon of Kun or above. She was determined. No matter what Zhang Zizai said, since she had met him, she must not let him mess with her. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. If she caught him, there would be no chance at all. Zhang Zizai saw it and ran away directly. Want to leave, the beautiful woman had expected it and chased after him directly. If it was outside the sea, it would be like catching a turtle in a jar for her to capture Zhang Zizai, but it was not so easy in this ant nest. Zhang Zizai had already thought about what to do when he met a strong man. Avasai Hell Talisman. Evil Spirit Talisman. Heroic Spirit Talisman. Living Shield Talisman. In order not to be caught, he threw a large number of talismans directly behind him. Although he was facing the Dragon Guardian, each talisman had an important role. The Avasai Hell Talisman instantly released a large amount of Hell Death energy, which immediately filled the passage behind Zhang Zizai, and then a large number of evil spirits and heroes of evil spirit talismans and hero talismans swarmed up, almost blocking the entire passage. The most effective one was the Kun-level talisman Living Shield Talisman given by Tianya. A huge golden shield appeared directly and crossed the passage, almost blocking the entire passage. "You may not look down on me if you want to escape from me." The teasing laughter of the beautiful woman came from behind. She turned into a blue shadow, instantly penetrating the range of the Avasai Hell Talisman. Facing the encirclement of evil spirits and heroic spirits, she directly pushed out with a palm, annihilating the evil spirits and heroic spirits. Only the Great Shield Talisman of living beings intercepted her for a while. However, about 3 breaths later, the Great Shield Talisman of living beings was broken, and she rushed out from it. At this time, Zhang Zizai had already left a distance with the 8-step soul chasing lightning. If Lingdang was here, it should be easy to leave, but Zhang Zizai didn't want Lingdang to take risks at this time. He had left as fast as he could, and the 8-step soul chasing lightning flashed and the current was surging, but the beautiful woman behind him could still chase him relentlessly. I don't know why she caught up again. You know, Zhang Zizai encountered a lot of forks on the way out. There were so many forks, but she didn't see him, and she could still hang behind him. It can only be said that the level of the Dragon Guardian Venerable is too strong. Zhang Zizai had no choice but to keep throwing talismans behind him. Boom boom boom. The chase between the two made a lot of noise. Don't run away, it's just a waste of talismans. What other talismans did Tianya give you? After breaking Zhang Zizai's great shield of life again, the beautiful woman caught up in an instant. She could already see Zhang Zizai. A little headache. Why not obey her? Anyway, she doesn't dare to kill me. If she wandered around here, she would definitely meet people from the life and death talisman section at that time. Someone would definitely save her and she wouldn't waste talismans. So many great shield of life were broken by her, which made her feel distressed. This woman was too fierce. In the blink of an eye, she was behind him, and the fragrance behind her could be smelled. Zhang Zizai was ready to capture her. Suddenly, a terrifying breath came from behind him. She wants to kill me, Zhang Zizai reacted immediately. But in a blink of an eye, he realized that this must not be her breath. There was a third existence here. And that existence had murderous intentions. In an instant, his hands and feet were cold. His only reaction at this moment was to throw away all the talismans on his body, run away, and directly complete the 8-step soul chasing electricity. Boom boom boom. There was a sound of fighting behind him. It was obviously the beautiful woman fighting with others, and it was very tragic. It was a life and death battle. Who is this again? There were too many magical things in this ant nest, and Zhang Zizai was a little confused. But he couldn't care so much and just left. The beautiful woman seemed to be intercepted by someone and didn't catch up. Zhang Zizai left smoothly. He entered several forks and changed directions everywhere. He was a little confused. He didn't believe that he could be caught up like this. Even though he was powerful, he was a little tired this time. At this position, he gradually couldn't hear the sound of fighting over there. In the process of leaving, he looked back once and saw that the one fighting with the beautiful woman seemed to be a tall existence, about 2 or 3 people tall, and he didn't know what it was. It doesn't look like a normal person. Could it be a source beast? But it seems to be in human form. It seems that the two people's movements were too loud, so they attracted the arrival of that thing. He held his breath and waited here for half an hour. What exactly is that thing? Although he only saw a black shadow, Zhang Zizai felt that he seemed to have seen it before. Can that dragon guardian beat him? He originally wanted to leave directly, but he always felt that something was wrong. He carefully recalled the outline of the black shadow and felt more and more that he should have seen it before. Half an hour later, the battle was over long ago, and the people were likely gone. Zhang Zizai thought for a moment, and then he started to walk back, cautiously throughout the process. He only appeared when he heard the movement there completely disappeared. He found that the passage here was in a mess, with traces of fighting everywhere. With his strength, he was completely unable to leave traces on the walls of the passage, but there were many claw marks and some ice stains on it. It was left behind by the dragon protector. Who wins and who loses? Zhang Zizai continued to move forward. Suddenly, he saw something on the ground in front of him. He walked up and took a look, almost startling himself. That's a head. The head of that beautiful woman just now. Her eyes widened and she stared in disbelief, refusing to close her eyes. Her neck was gone. It didn't look like it had been chopped off. Judging from the incision, it looked like it had been bitten off. Eat the body from the neck down and throw away the head. This is probably what it looks like. Zhang Zizai felt a little creepy. He carefully recalled the appearance of the black shadow, and suddenly remembered. Before the ant nest appeared, they broke a statue. That statue was in existence with the head of a dragon and a human body. The black shadow just looked like this. Zhang Zizai suddenly felt. I am still wandering around here, am I looking for death? This place is simply a nightmare, it seems not the place he should come to. The sixth talisman that can give people a chance to become a god is important, but it would be even more uneconomical to die here. The state is a bit bad. Chapter 3 today. I will rest more and try to recover as soon as possible and add some updates. Thank you for your support. I will work hard. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 517. Did the statue kill people, or did the statue come back to life? Zhang Zizai witnessed with his own eyes that a strong man of the level of the Dragon Guardian died in front of him, and his death was so tragic. He couldn't help but worry. With this kind of death, even if the immortal talisman is green, it can't save me. Considering that the ghost thing is likely to linger nearby, Zhang Zizai left quickly. He couldn't help the Dragon Guardian. With my strength, if no one protects me, if I am targeted by the monster just now, I will definitely die. No matter how many talismans there are, it is estimated that there is no way to escape. The sixth talisman is indeed full of temptation, but the key is to have a life. After wandering around here for many days, he still couldn't find a way out. In such a dangerous environment, Zhang Zizai planned to go to the evolution world first, which is safer than here. So he spent a quarter of an hour in the corner to open the evolution gate, escape into it, and disappear in this ant nest. In the deserted island. After the last incident, the evolution realm has been peaceful. They are all practicing in seclusion, except Zhang Yuning who plays with Lingling every day. Seeing Zhang Zizai coming back, Lingling crossed her arms and pretended to ignore him, expressing her protest against Zhang Zizai's last forced return. She has begun to walk. As soon as she learned to walk, she ran everywhere. She would fall down after running a few steps, but she continued to run. What's the situation now? Zhang Yuning asked. Zhang Zizai told her about his experience. You'd better stay here. It's too scary. Zhang Yuning's eyes showed worry. I'll go and see how they practice first. The four of them are still in seclusion. Because the totems are all Hong level totems, the speed of practice is naturally 1,000 miles a day, comparable to the sons and daughters of the gods of the divine section Baishanjian, Wanqian, and Ruoxiao. You have all broken through to the saint body realm, and have advanced 1 or 2 levels. At the current speed, it won't take long to reach the divine seal realm. Lu Dingxing's left eye changed dramatically, and after practicing the Taisha Chaos Demon God Sutra, he was like a completely different person. Boss, come in. His reaction was actually very sensitive. When Zhang Zizai approached, he easily found it. After standing up, Zhang Zizai found that he was still growing taller, and his body had a tendency to develop horizontally, and he looked more and more like a giant panda. The blood-colored left eye and the bloodlines covering the left half of the body looked extremely terrifying, as if he had crawled out of hell. How is the progress? Zhang Zizai asked. Half a month, breakthrough, holy body, first level, 3 months, God Seal realm. He said vaguely, but Zhang Zizai could easily understand that this training speed came from this eye and the Taisha Chaos Demon God Sutra. It's a terrible speed. If Zhang Zizai remembered correctly, this was faster than his training speed in the holy body realm. It seems that the fortune of my god box is nothing. Shen Xiao has the guidance of the ancestor dragon soul in Zilongjia Yuan. His realm can be improved to such a level. If you give him some time, he will probably catch up, Zhang Zizai said. He is not the only lucky person in this world. There are people who are better than you. His previous cultivation speed was first brought by the Yuanqi Shenlong Sutra and secondly by external cultivation conditions, such as the Beast God Tower. But when Lu Dingxing, Shen Xiao and others have considerable skills and conditions, it is normal for him to have such a speed. Now in the origin continent, you, me and Shen Xiao are the most talented people. Zhang Zizai knew it in his heart. You are powerful, I am far behind, and this thing is unknown whether it will live or die. This left eye belongs to him now, but who knows that this terrible thing will always be controlled by him. Relax, have confidence in yourself. Life and death are the best fortunes, how can you take all the good ones? I know, I am fearless, Lu Dingxing said in a deep voice. Zhang Zizai patted his shoulder. He had been the elder brother since they became sworn brothers at the age of 8 or 9. If there were any troubles in the future, he would shoulder them. Zhang Zizai stayed on the deserted island for 3 days. He checked the progress of the 3 great divine talismans. Among them, the beast control talisman had been restored and could be used. The immortal talisman was still a little short. The lifeless talisman would take some time. With my current strength, it should not be a problem to face the 8th grade source beast, Zhang Zizai was planning. If I can control a source beast and follow me in the dragon demon ruins, if I encounter that monster, I will let the source beast take over and escape by myself. He couldn't wait blindly in the evolutionary world, so he thought of many ways these days. It happened that the beast control talisman could be used, so he thought of this. This was the only way he could do now. Moreover, he hadn't gone deep for a long time to see what else was in the depths of the evolutionary world. After deciding, Zhang Zizai set off with the beast control talisman. The deserted island was surrounded by the vast sea. He locked onto the direction of the vortex center above his head and used the flying talisman to move forward on the vast sea. The vast sea was very vast, but fortunately the flying talisman was fast enough. After 7 days, Zhang Zizai finally saw a piece of land. Before he got close, a bone-chilling cold air swept over. Most of the nearby ocean had frozen into ice. A more accurate description of the land ahead should be an endless glacier. The land was covered with ice and snow, and it seemed that there was no source beast at all. Zhang Zizai landed here. There was thick ice under his feet. Looking forward, the glacier had no end. It seemed that such a place should be deserted and seldom visited by people. However, the worse the living environment, the more likely it is that there are more ferocious source beasts, because only powerful source beasts can survive in this world. Is the monster in the dragon demon ruins eating? Then I find a source beast of the largest size that can walk in the passage of the ant nest. Can I eat longer? Only by eating longer can I be safe. So he directly used the 10,000 breath talisman to find a source beast of the right size. If it is too big, it cannot move in the passage, and if it is too small, it will be eaten up in a while. The 10,000 breath talisman is very effective in finding source beasts. Zhang Zizai quickly sensed the target and chased after it. This is the ice polar white bear, a 6th grade source beast. The 6th grade source beast is too weak, so he changed the target directly. In half a day, most of the ones he found were 6th grade and 7th grade source beasts. His target is the 8th grade source beast. After another 2 hours, after consuming more than a dozen Wang Zaifu, they finally found it. Zhang Zizai looked at the giant beast several feet tall in front of him and was very satisfied. It was an elephant walking on the glacier, brown all over, with thick hair, and a pair of silver tusks, like 2 sharp swords. 8th grade source beast, glacier mammoth. This source beast has very strong power, and the totem pattern on its body also has totem magic. It should be the overlord of this glacier. After it appeared, other source beasts fled and dared not approach. It's you. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 518. After locking onto the glacier mammoth, Zhang Zizai attacked directly. The glacier mammoth is a beast with a very violent temper. If it were placed on the origin continent, it would be able to force back thousands of troops by charging in a disorderly manner on the battlefield. Zhang Zizai thought that it would be much easier to subdue it with force first and then control it with the beast control talisman. The combat power of this glacier mammoth is almost equivalent to the 7th and 8th levels of the Divine Seal realm. Zhang Zizai had dealt with Ye Chen before. When he used the 8-step soul-chasing lightning and the 9-day tribulation thunderclaw on this glacier mammoth, the dense black lightning directly knocked the glacier mammoth over after several collisions. The glacier mammoth was suddenly attacked and roared in anger. Its 4 feet shook the glacier and cracked it, forming huge cracks. It is hard to imagine that this kind of giant beast was actually lifted up by Zhang Zizai's collision and rolled several times on the glacier. Boom boom boom. The 9 heavens tribulation thunderclaws beat the giant beast and made it flee in a panic. However, the source beast was indeed thick-skinned and even the 9 heavens tribulation thunderclaws did not seriously injure it. Almost. Judging from the degree of fear of the glacier mammoth, it should not be a big problem to surrender at this time. Zhang Zizai took out the beast control talisman, caught up with the glacier mammoth in the blink of an eye, and sat directly on its head. Riding on this giant beast and driving it to run wildly on this endless glacier, it felt very bold, which reminded him of the first time he rode a horse under the guidance of his father. The sky and earth in front of him were all ice blue. Zhang Zizai was about to drip blood on the beast control talisman to control the glacier mammoth. Suddenly, the glacier mammoth trembled all over. It was originally running forward, but suddenly it braked in a hurry, then turned its head and ran back, making a howling sound, feeling more afraid than when it was defeated by Zhang Zizai just now. Zhang Zizai heard the movement, and it seemed that many other source beasts were running wildly behind, as if something terrible was coming in front. Boom boom boom. The glacier mammoth had forgotten about Zhang Zizai and only knew how to run away. What is that? Zhang Zizai was using the 10,000 breath talisman and detected a powerful life behind him, which was approaching the side at an astonishing speed. Ding ding ding. He looked behind him and saw that the world behind him was completely shrouded in blizzards. The terrifying storm was sweeping the world and chasing the side. Many source beasts failed to dodge in time and were directly frozen into ice sculptures, still maintaining the panic expression when they were fleeing. This is not a natural change. Zhang Zizai knew very well that it was caused by that powerful life. The speed of the glacier mammoth was less than 1/3 of the speed of the blizzard, and Zhang Zizai was unwilling to give up the source beast that he had finally dealt with, So he and the glacier mammoth were quickly caught up. When the blizzard swept over him, Zhang Zizai felt the terrifying freezing. His body was instantly covered with a thick layer of ice, and the glacier mammoth under his seat was also directly frozen into an ice sculpture. The whole world was still in an instant. Oh my god, Zhang Zizai was shivering with cold, and he was exhausted. The icy power was penetrating his body, and it was going to freeze his flesh and blood. At that time, he would become an ice sculpture. Fortunately, his body was hot enough, so he barely held on, but if he didn't get out of this frozen state quickly, it would be very troublesome. The glacier mammoth under his seat was completely motionless, and it was probably dead. He wanted to use the 10,000 breath talisman to see if he could burn the ice on the surface of the skin after the life was gone. Suddenly, his eyes, through the ice covering the surface of the body, saw a source beast suddenly appear in front of him. It was a light blue fox, with a very pure body and a pair of sapphire blue eyes like gems. The eyes in the eyes flashed with wisdom, and it could be seen that it must be very smart. Behind it, 9 blue tails were waving, as if this world of ice and snow had something to do with these tails. There are some blue totem patterns on its body, hidden in its hair, which are complex and exquisite, much more complex than the totem patterns of the glacier mammoth under its seat. 9th grade source beast, snow sky fox. Zhang Zizai recognized it. No wonder the glacier mammoth and other source beasts are so scared. This is the 9th grade source beast snow sky fox. It is probably the overlord of this glacier. Its totem magic can cause the world to freeze wherever it goes. In addition to freezing, Zhang Zizai recalled the source beast record he had seen. The snow sky fox also has the magic power of hiding. It can blend into the world, hide itself, and move strangely. This is very similar to the dream fox in the battlefield of life and death. At that time, Zhang Zizai had hardly seen the entity of the dream fox. Encountering the snow sky fox, Zhang Zizai was even more depressed. He felt that his luck was really bad. He came here to take refuge after being in danger in the dragon demon ruins, but he didn't expect to encounter danger here again. The snow sky fox is actually a terrifying source beast. It looks beautiful, smart, and pure, but it is actually extremely cruel. It has a habit, which is also a totemic magical power, called eating souls. It is recorded that the snow fox likes to freeze its prey and then eat its souls. It is a very rare source beast that can contact souls. It is said that it has an insect-like breath that can extend from its mouth, pierce into the body, find the invisible soul, and eat it. All the source beasts in the frozen world were its prey, but it came to Zhang Zizai alone. It obviously felt that the soul of the virtual spirit realm was an unprecedented feast. This was a very cold source beast, but Zhang Zizai could see that it was quite excited at this time, and its sapphire eyes were much brighter. Zhang Zizai saw its tongue. It was not an ordinary tongue. It was like a water blue tentacle. It looked pretty good, but it could penetrate into people's bodies and suck souls. At this time, the tentacles in the mouth of the snow fox locked the position of Zhang Zizai's mouth directly through the ice layer of the smile. It seemed that it wanted to come in from this position again. It felt like a wet kiss with it. This was simply a fatal kiss. Zhang Zizai was terrified. At this juncture, he couldn't care about anything. The only ability he could use when he couldn't move was the Eternal God Fist. Zhang Zizai would store power in the ancient God mark on weekdays, and the Eternal God Fist could burst out in a very short time. He directly poured out the power of the ancient God mark at this time. Bang! His entire arm finally blew up the ice. Buzz! Zhang Zizai punched himself and finally got rid of the ice. He was free in a short time. He escaped with the 8-step soul chasing lightning at the fastest speed, but the 8-step soul chasing lightning just transferred once, and his body was frozen again. The snow fox was behind him, looking at him with indifference, watching his body being frozen again. This world seems to be controlled by it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 519. It's a bit scary, since he can't escape, he can only fight. He took out the black stick of the violent ape from the space jade pendant, and threw it away with a lot of talismans in his hand. 5 elements subduing demon stick. He locked the position of the snow fox and smashed it with violent stick techniques. Yaojin and Zhenmuo, 2 consecutive sticks hit it. Zhang Zizai was ready for a fight to the death. The power of the 5 elements subduing demon stick was quite rough. However, what surprised Zhang Zizai was that the snow fox didn't dodge. You actually looked down on me. Zhang Zizai didn't care about anything and just went up and smashed it. In this blink of an eye, the snow fox was hit by several sticks and flew out directly. It hit the ground hard and spurted a lot of blue blood. It can be seen that it was injured by Zhang Zizai because it didn't resist, but why? Zhang Zizai found that it was locked up and looked at him timidly. I'm so handsome, I conquered it. Zhang Zizai's face was full of disbelief. He knew this was impossible, there must be other reasons. When he swung the black stick, the snow fox shrank back noticeably. Zhang Zizai finally understood that the snow fox was actually afraid of the black stick. This is the thing of the violent ape. The violent ape is a 10th grade source beast. It knows the violent ape and thinks that I have a relationship with the violent ape, or that I am the violent ape, Zhang Zizai thought. When the black eyeball appeared, only the violent ape rushed out. Could it be related to the stick? This evolutionary world is too mysterious. Many things can only be guessed, but not confirmed. However, there is one thing that can be confirmed. Since it is afraid of me, can I not control it with the beast talisman? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The snow fox is much stronger than the glacier mammoth. If it can be controlled and used for its own benefit, then the ability to save his life when he returns to the dragon demon ruins will be much stronger. Faced with such an opportunity, Zhang Zizai certainly will not waste it. He held the black stick in one hand, with an expression that he was a violent ape, and held the beast control talisman in the other hand. His palm was cut, and the blood had seeped into the talisman and connected with the beast control talisman. Don't move. Zhang Zizai directly used the black stick to press the belly of the blue little fox, making it tremble more, and even let out a whine, which sounded very pitiful. Why are you pretending? When you eat souls, you are a devil. Zhang Zizai found this opportunity, and he was quick to press the beast control talisman directly on the snow fox's forehead. The snow fox still wanted to struggle, but Zhang Zizai used the black stick to hit it, and it became obedient in an instant. Under the connection of the beast control talisman, the blood of the snow fox and Zhang Zizai quickly connected together, and Zhang Zizai's blood forcefully entered its body, leaving a mark of control on it. The whole process was completed very easily because the snow fox was afraid of the black stick. Zhang Zizai had completely controlled the 9th grade source beast snow fox since then. After he put away the black stick, the snow fox followed him obediently. Come up. Hearing Zhang Zizai's order, the snow fox blinked its big blue eyes, jumped onto Zhang Zizai's shoulder, and intimately touched Zhang Zizai's head with its head. Zhang Zizai liked it very much, because the totem of the 9 immortals was the devouring fox, and the little fox was so cute and moving. Show me your skills. Hearing Zhang Zizai's words, the snow fox was very excited, and its tail began to wag. For a while, the cold wave swept around, forming a blizzard. This place is a glacier, so it seems that the effect is average, but when it reaches that passage, it is estimated that a large area of the passage can be directly frozen into an ice and snow world. Ice sealing is one of its totem magical powers. The second is called hidden illusion, which is that it can hide and transform, similar to the effect of the moon hidden talisman, but much better than the moon hidden talisman. When it hides in front of Zhang Zizai, even the 10,000 breath talisman can hardly feel its existence. And then, it showed Zhang Zizai a brand new skill. When the power of its totem pattern shines, it hides and illusory around Zhang Zizai. It may be because Zhang Zizai is connected with it by blood, so it can hide and illusory with Zhang Zizai. The beast control talisman makes it become a part of Zhang Zizai's body. Zhang Zizai can control it at will. Its ability can be transmitted to Zhang Zizai through the beast control talisman. It is really very rare. Next, it will perform eating souls, so Zhang Zizai hurriedly stopped it. The poor glacier mammoth is not dead yet, so let it live. Zhang Zizai is ready to go back, first to the deserted island, leave the location of the gate of the evolutionary world on the deserted island, and then return to the dragon demon ruins. He has been away for more than 10 days, and I don't know how it is now. With the snow sky fox, he finally has a little ability to save his life. When leaving the glacier, Zhang Zizai asked casually, "Do you have the source of evolution?" The snow fox nodded. "What a pleasant surprise. Take me to get it," Zhang Zizai said hurriedly. It is normal for a 9th grade source beast like the snow fox to possess some sources of evolution. It also wants to evolve stronger abilities. The snow fox led him forward on this glacier. It was very fast and could use a blizzard to carry Zhang Zizai forward, much faster than Zhang Zizai could travel by himself. Soon they arrived at the snow fox's lair. They first entered an ice cave. The cave was very deep and extremely cold. Ordinary 8th grade source beasts would probably be frozen to death if they entered. Zhang Zizai could only move with the protection of the snow fox. It seems that it has used a lot of means to preserve its own source of evolution. Finally, when they reached the depths of the cave, Zhang Zizai saw densely packed sources of evolution piled up together, just like a treasure. It really deserves to be a 9th grade source beast. It has so many belongings. Zhang Zizai had several space jade pendants, so he just let go and pretended. Snow Fox didn't feel bad about it anyway. Most of them are low-level evolution sources, and there are fewer level 5 and 6 evolution sources. But even so, there are 7 or 8 level 6 evolution sources, which are all treasures that can make people reach the flood level totem. "Is there a level 7 evolution source?" Zhang Zizai asked. He searched once and found nothing. Woo-woo, the snow fox still has its own thoughts. Hearing this question, it wailed, but still involuntarily took Zhang Zizai deeper. Before they could go any further, the ice layer inside collapsed, and a small room appeared. In that small room, there was an ice blue evolution source, which was exuding a majestic icy breath, which conquered Zhang Zizai. This is the level 7 evolution source, a divine object that can evolve a totem to a universe level totem. He is still only a universe level totem now. It can only be said that the evolution world is really a miraculous world. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 520. This evolution source is a blue gem with a crystal in the center that looks like an ice crystal. Zhang Zizai quickly took out the evolution source secret book and turned to the last part of the 7th level evolution source. He began to compare the shape and confirm the name and function of this evolution source. As he turned the pages, he suddenly saw a familiar evolution source. It was a fiery red gem with a red flame burning in the center. This 7th level evolution source is called Heaven Punishment, and a small word fire is marked at the back. Fire Heaven Punishment, fused with Totem Evolution, can bring Heaven Punishment fire. This is how the secret book describes it. Shen Xiao got this evolution source and evolved into the Heaven Punishment Flame Dragon Totem. Turning back a page, he saw the evolution source in his hand. The name is also Heaven Punishment, but the small word marked at the back is Ice. It says, Ice Heaven Punishment, fused with Totem Evolution, can bring Heaven Punishment Ice. This is actually the same evolution source as Shen Xiao's evolution source, but the attribute is different. In the origin continent, the ancestor dragon soul of Xuanhuan only gave the 7th level evolution source, but in the evolution source, a 9th grade source beast can actually have the heavenly punishment. Zhang Zizai knew that the gate to the evolution world was actually an unimaginable treasure. The entire world here is a treasure house. I just don't know if there is a higher level evolution source that allows my totem to continue to evolve. He left the cave and looked at the center of the vortex. It seemed that it was still far away from the center. The 7th level evolution source has appeared here. Isn't there a more terrible evolution source ahead? He put away the ice heavenly punishment and returned to the deserted island with the snow sky fox. Ice heavenly punishment, it seems that none of the 5 of them can use it. Keep it for the time being, otherwise, if they are forced to evolve, 99% of the evolution will fail, which is a waste. This kind of 7th level evolution source still needs to be sure. Little fox, Lingling saw the snow sky fox, his eyes lit up, rubbing pinching. The snow sky fox looked at the little devil with a depressed face, and had no way out. But when Zhang Zizai took the snow fox back to the dragon demon ruins without her, she stood there sulking with her arms folded in anger. Daddy doesn't want you to take risks with him, Zhang Yuning comforted her. But Lingdang wants to protect Daddy. Then Lingdang will grow up soon and become even more powerful. Under Zhang Yuning's persuasion, she finally obeyed. At the same time, Zhang Zizai returned to the dragon demon ruins. It was still the same as before, with a depressing atmosphere. The snow fox lay on his shoulder. The moment it came here, all its hair stood up, and it involuntarily entered a state of illusory and hid. Take me with you. Zhang Zizai looked at its disappointing appearance and felt a little unsure. This coward, can it save lives at a critical moment? The snow fox can take him into the state of illusory. When Zhang Zizai can walk silently, he feels much more relieved and continues to move forward in this passage, but still as aimlessly as before. However, he saw traces in many passages. Someone passed by here and left traces like me. The various symbols on the wall indicated that many teams must have come in during the past 10 days. It has been so long, I am afraid that all the masters of the origin building have gathered here. It is estimated that the masters of the underworld palace and the divine sect have arrived. Just as he thought of this, there was a movement in front of him, as if many people were coming here. He quickly hid to the side and leaned against the wall. The snow fox blocked him in front of him. The two entered the invisible state together, and Zhang Zizai held his breath. Protect Ling-er. It's so weird here. Take a few more steps, it feels like I can't get out at all. Zhang Zizai heard their voices getting closer and closer. When he saw this group of people in the corner, he quickly recognized them. There are so many people in the underworld palace. The first to appear in the field of vision were the 3 Hades, and Bai Yeling and several other geniuses who were protected in the middle by them, and a group of Hades generals behind them. This team was larger than the team that recruited Zhang Zizai last time. They should have come in together later, Zhang Zizai thought. If I had been here like them, I would have been separated long ago. It seems that it is better to come in from the back. At least I have Tianya and Ye Dongyang to protect me, and I don't have to go through so much trouble to catch the source beast. Zhang Zizai didn't plan to meet them, so he hid in the corner, holding his breath and waiting for them to pass. He was in another passage, and the people from the Hades palace were not going in his direction, so he just had to pass by. Soon, they passed by Zhang Zizai, and even the 3 Hades didn't notice Zhang Zizai. It can only be said that the snow fox's invisibility is still very powerful. But Zhang Zizai never expected that at this moment, in front of the Hades palace team, there was a terrifying and suffocating breath, and a black shadow suddenly appeared and blocked the front of the team. Zhang Zizai's eyes widened. It was the monster that appeared that day. Sure enough, this monster was in human form, very sturdy, with dense dragon scales on its body, claws on both hands, and a dragon tail. The most terrifying thing was its head, which was a dragon head with dragon teeth. dragon mouth, dragon whiskers, and dragon horns, just like a real dragon. This monster was very violent. When it appeared, it attacked the crowd in the Hades palace without saying a word. What the hell is this? The people in the Hades palace were clearly seeing it for the first time, so they were very shocked. This monster appeared from the side and attacked the flank directly as soon as it appeared. There were several old Hades generals on the flank. This monster appeared very suddenly, and directly crashed into the crowd, fighting with its claws and dragon tail. It had unimaginable physical strength. When its wide palm slapped, several old men who tried to block with both hands were blown away and hit the wall hard. Get out of the way, the three Hades reacted very quickly. They left the Blood Soul Hades to protect by yelling, and the two Hades quickly intercepted the monster and attacked directly. This level of attack was earth-shattering. There were continuous roars, and Zhang Zizai couldn't see clearly. It was simply dazzling. Suddenly, with a bang, a giant fell to the ground. Only then could we see clearly that the monster was defeated and killed. It was covered with green blood, and its chest was directly torn and pierced by the dry bone Hades. What the hell is this? Everyone surrounded them. Everyone's face was full of shock. Just when they were still shocked by the appearance of the monster's body underwent a huge change, shrinking and merging. Such a large body turned into a blood-colored crystal in the end. What is this? The people in the underworld palace quickly moved away. Then, the crystal stone actually rushed towards Zhang Zizai.